In this video, you will learn how to sew a button and make a buttonhole using the sliding buttonhole foot that comes along with the sewing machine. What you will need is a piece of fabric that is 10 inches by 10 inches, flat buttons with 4 holes, water-soluble marker, seam ripper, a scale, beaded pins. To start with, take the piece of fabric and place the scale at the center of the fabric and mark a point 1 inch inside from the edge on either side of the fabric. Place the button on the point on the left side and mark 2 points vertically on either sides of the button at 1/8 inch distance. Then connect these 3 points with a straight line to mark your buttonhole length. Now let's start with making the buttonhole. To attach the buttonhole foot, lift the presser foot and release the attached A foot by raising the lever. Align the buttonhole foot and clamp it by lowering the lever. Set the fabric underneath the foot at the start point of the buttonhole marking. Move the slider towards you and lower the foot. The top arrow mark on the slider should meet the start mark on the fabric. Set the pattern selector dial at 1 and set the stitch length dial between 0 to 1. Sew forward till you reach the next marking of your buttonhole. Now raise the needle and set the pattern selector dial at 2. Sew a few stitches and stop sewing. Now raise the needle and set the pattern selector dial at 3. Start sewing backward until the needle reaches the previous marking of the buttonhole. Raise the needle and set the pattern selector dial at 4. Sew few stitches and then stop sewing. Lift the foot to remove the fabric. Cut the thread with the help of the thread cutter. Trim off excess thread on either sides of the fabric. Now, to stitch the button on the other end of the fabric, bring down the feed dog position so as to attach the button to the fabric. Remove the extension table. Open the cover where you install the bobbin. To drop the feed dog, push the lever to the right side. Now close the cover and fix the extension table. Adjust the front edge of the foot slider with the front rows of the buttonholes and set the button under the foot, adjusting the marked position. Lower the foot. Keeping the needle raised, set the pattern selector dial at C to sew zigzag stitches. Turn the balance wheel manually towards you to ensure the needle enters into each hole of the button. Sew a few stitches to sew through the first row of buttonholes. Keep the needle raised and adjust the front foot edge with the next row of buttonholes. Sew a few stitches through the second row of buttonholes. Raise the needle and set the stitch pattern selector dial to B to lock the stitch with a few more stitches. Remove the fabric with the attached button and trim all the extra threads from both the sides. You are nearly done. Now take a pin and pin the top of the buttonhole. Using the seam ripper, gently cut through the opening. The pin on the top will stop you from overcutting. Remove the pin from the fabric. Now the button is fixed and the buttonhole is ready. All you need to do is fold the cloth and pass the button through the buttonhole. Keep practicing button fixing and buttonholing till you are confident. It's easy and only needs a steady hand and a little practice.